WBIR 10 News starts now.
You narrowed the field, then your vote sealed their fate. Today, former Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett assumed his role in the U.S. House of Representatives, and Marsha Blackburn became the first Tennessee woman sent to the Senate. 10 News anchor John Becker is in Washington, D.C. tonight covering the swearing in. We are going to get his take, plus hear the path that took Burchett to the Capitol. But first, though, we want to take a look at the changing face of Congress. Reporter Blaine Alexander shows us what it means for a possible end to the ongoing government shutdown.
On Capitol Hill, it's the changing of the guard.
I extend to you this gavel. Thank you.
For the first time in 8 years, Democrats taking House control, and with it, restoring the gavel to Nancy Pelosi, the first female Speaker of the House.
So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, Madam Speaker.
Taking the oath, surrounded by children and grandchildren of House members, including her own. It is the most diverse Congress in American history. More than 100 women, a new record. The Congressional Black Caucus welcoming its biggest class ever. And Muslim and Native American women joining Congress for the very first time.
Our democracy will be strengthened by their optimism, idealism, and patriotism of this transformative freshman class.
In the Senate, Republicans increasing their majority by 2 seats. But with the shifting balance of power in the House, this new Congress means new headaches for President Trump. House Democrats now wielding power over congressional investigations. And on the possibility of impeachment, Speaker Pelosi not ruling it out.
Well, we have to wait and see what happens with the Mueller report.
It also means an even tougher fight for the president's border wall. With the government shutdown now in day 13, the president again blaming Democrats for the shutdown he once promised to own. Both sides still refusing to budge. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
House Democrats are introducing a bill tonight that would reopen the government. Senate Republicans and the president have already made it clear it's going nowhere. We will have more details on the shutdown coming up at 5:30. We witnessed a historic change for Washington, D.C. and for East Tennessee today in Washington. Democrats took control of the House, but Republican Tim Burchett took the oath of office as the newest congressman from East Tennessee. He will represent the 740,000 people of Tennessee's 2nd District. That is 1 out of 9 in our state, and a historic change for that seat. For the past 54 years, it's been held by the Duncan family. First, John Duncan Sr., then his son Jimmy. Well, today, that seat belongs to Tim Burchett. 10 News anchor John Becker joining us live now from Washington, where he has been following the new congressman throughout the day. John, we saw you earlier with the new congressman as he saw his office for the first time. I have to imagine it's just been an emotional day for him from beginning to end.
Without a doubt, Robin, it has been. He called this day overwhelming. He was on the House floor taking the oath with his 11-year-old daughter, his family surrounding him really at all aspects of this day. He is a guy who needs no introduction around Knoxville, but in Washington, D.C., he is the new guy in town. Here's a look at how he got here.
Day one of work in Washington marked a day of firsts for Tim Burchett. The freshman congressman from East Tennessee is finding his way around the streets of the Capitol and the halls of the Longworth office building.
Want to put it on Carhartt?
And for the first time, his wife and daughter fitted him with his member pin.
How is Tim Burchett from East Tennessee sitting in Washington, D.C.?
I had great parents.
What would they think of you today?
I think they would just be so proud they couldn't stand it.
Burchett credits his mom and dad, both educators, for raising him to serve others. The Bearden High and UT grad has spent the last 25 years in public service. Starting in the Tennessee State House, he moved on to the state Senate and won 2 terms as Knox County mayor.
What should East Tennesseans know you're going to look out for here in D.C.?
Constituent service. When they've got a problem, I've got a problem.
It's just great.
Burchett supporters celebrated the swearing in from his office. They're now among the 740,000 people he represents across Tennessee's 2nd District.
Today is ceremonial, but it's also a business day. How do you end the shutdown?
There's going to have to be somebody's going to have to blink. It's just like when I was in Nashville. We went through a couple of shutdowns there. It's no different, really.
He faces a host of critical votes and decisions in the days ahead, but this historic day wouldn't be complete without one more first.
Treat number one.
The first official treat from the new congressman in his new office.
And we're back live here in Washington. The congressman has his eyes set on a couple of committees, Armed Services, Commerce, as well as Energy, but that will come in the days ahead. Right now, he said his first priority is to listen. We'll have more of our conversation with Congressman Tim Burchett coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Robin?
Right. John, thank you very much.
Yeah. Face a little more
Okay, I will do that.
Tennessee also elected Marsha Blackburn to represent us in the Senate. In more than 200 years, she is the first female senator from our state, and she has taken Bob Corker's place in the Capitol. Her term will last 6 years. You can learn more about today's ceremonies on our website. Plus, get expert takes on what the new leadership means for East Tennessee. All that at WBIR.com. Well, to the forecast now. When it comes to your forecast, we are going to take the good with the not so good. It has been an overcast day. Rain not through just yet, but you know what? That didn't matter. These folks out on Market Square enjoying the skating rink. And you know what? Drier days are on the way. Hopefully some sunshine to go along with that. Let's check in with meteorologist Todd Howe in the Weather Center. You know what?
Yeah.
Hey, you can still get out and enjoy the day.
Exactly. And it may be cleaning the ice, bringing out the Zamboni, maybe have just cleared it, but a lot of folks out there ice skating today. Yeah. And I think maybe a couple more days is still open, so can head out there. Hope you're having a great Thursday. We have had cloudy, gray skies, but good news, we dried out. The rain ended early this morning, and we at least have had a dry day temporarily. More rain is on the way late tonight and for your Friday, and an active storm. So there's the Zamboni, or a golf cart with something on the back of it. But hey, you know, same thing, right? Oh, that's the improvisation right there. All right, anyway, here's a look at what we're seeing. Cloudy skies right now. More rain will be on the way late tonight into your Friday. So plan on having the rain gear with you out the door early in the morning as we zoom on in. Cloudy skies, but at least it's dry. And here's our futurecast. And we'll talk more about that. Again, we're pretty much dry until just after midnight, but there's the rain after midnight, early Friday morning. Soaking showers out the door in the morning. A little bit more scattered by afternoon. And it will be a very breezy and very mild day with some more thunder showers even possibly in the afternoon. Get a little bit of instability in here. We'll talk more about that and your weekend, which looks to be improving. Coming right up, Robin.
All right. Thank you so much, Todd. See you shortly. Well, this is already a busy time of year for hospitals, but now there's an extra workload here in Knox County. This after the recent closure of a hospital in North Knoxville. WBIR 10 News reporter Jim Matheny shows us how it's also becoming a burden for ambulance workers.
Over the past several months, we've seen an increase in wait times.
Billboards on the interstate tell you how long you'll have to wait at the emergency room. But ambulance crews in Knox County say those numbers are not even close to how long they are waiting and staying with patients they take to the hospital.
Before we were seeing about 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half wait times. Now we're seeing upwards of anywhere from 3 to 7 hours in some cases.
Basically, the hospitals are full, especially now that Physicians Regional Medical Center in North Knoxville shut down.
That's approximately 250 hospital bed inpatient beds that are gone now.
Sonova North in Powell is so overcrowded, it's gone on divert, telling the ambulance workers to take patients somewhere else.
This is the first time since I've been here a hospital's gone on divert, to be honest with you, so I'm hoping it doesn't last long. I think it's a smart move on them. Why continue to take patients if you can't take them? It could go on for a little while. Unfortunately, the 911 phone keeps ringing.
Without any rooms available, ambulances and their crews are treated like an extension to the hospital. Some patients get treated and discharged without ever getting off the ambulance cot. But if an ambulance is stuck at the hospital, it's not outperforming its main job.
Crews having to remain at the hospitals for a prolonged period of time. That's less trucks I have available to run the emergencies in the street.
Hospitals in Knox County are in the process of expanding. But in the meantime, ambulance crews say patients can help by only calling for actual emergencies.
We see folks going to the emergency room a lot because they think they're going to get seen faster just because they go by ambulance. And that is not the case.
In Knox County, Jim Matheny, WBIR 10 News.
AMR says it is working with the Knox County Health Department and the hospitals to address the problem with emergency room wait times. Well, records reveal there have been more than 80 calls for emergency help to a North Knoxville nightclub over the past 2.5 years. Police say that club is connected to a fatal shooting on New Year's Day. 10 News reporter Stephanie Haynes joins us now with more details. Stephanie.
Has responded to 30 disturbance calls. 14 of those calls happened in the last 5 months, and 3 of those calls included a weapon. The club is in Knoxville City Councilwoman Lauren Ryder's district, and she says she's gotten no complaints about it.
In talking to neighbors along the street behind it, I didn't hear any complaints about it in 2016, 17, and over the last year being elected, no one's reached out to me with complaints.
We reached out to the club's owner, but we haven't heard from him and hear more about his history, including his South Knoxville club that was shot down. That's tonight at 6. Robin.
For it then, Stephanie, thank you. Well, people in Upper East Tennessee may have heard troubling sounds today during an explosion in Kingsport. It happened at the Holston Army Ammunition Plant. A spokesperson for the company acknowledges an explosion inside. It happened after a fire in one of their buildings. There were no injuries or no risk to the community. The company chose to let the building burn down entirely. A group of advocates is making one last plea for Centoya Brown's freedom. That 30-year-old is serving a life sentence for a murder she committed when she was 16 years old. Brown was homeless and trapped in prostitution at the time. She was convicted of shooting and killing the man she claims was trafficking her. Now, this group known as Women for Centoya is asking Bill Haslam, the governor, to grant her clemency in his last days in that office.
It was a horrible crime. But we have to ask ourselves, what was a grown man doing in the bed with a 16-year-old?
Brown has served 15 years in prison, but the Tennessee Supreme Court ruled she needs to serve her full life sentence. There's no word on whether Governor Haslam will act. All right, we want to take it from the headlines to the roads. Ed Rupp, back from the holidays. Good to see you. How are things and how are you?
Hey, Robin, I'm doing just fine. Nice to be back. Interstate traffic, we started out a little bit on the rough side over on 40 westbound over on the east side of town around the Holston River. That's been cleared up. Right now we're doing pretty well, and thank goodness, as Todd mentioned, some dry driving conditions for a change. Hallelujah. Looking at the 40 close to Cedar Bluff there, so far so good. Getting out of downtown is not too bad. Had some road work on Alcoa Highway up until about 3 this afternoon. Pretty good delays there, but now if you're headed down Alcoa Highway back into Blount County over to the airport, you'll be fine. Right at the moment, no wrecks blocking anything. We'll keep you updated in the 10 News Traffic Center. Happy New Year, Robin.
Happy New Year, Ed. Thank you. TSA agents, they're still working, but how does the government shutdown impact airport staff beyond that? We verify if it's still safe to fly. His father faced hate from the Klan. Now Roland Dykes is one of Tennessee's few black mayors. See how he's making history and leading from the minority. Plus, from the mountaintops to the ocean shore, she's touched them all. See what drove one North Carolina woman to venture to every state park. Coming up.